Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. As promised, today is not a true crime day. It is history time, and today we're learning about the late, the great Josephine Baker. Where's my notebook? If you do not know this woman, and I'm gonna act all hoity-toity here. I didn't know a bunch about her. I definitely heard of her, but this woman led such an amazing life, and especially in the time period she did what she did, it's amazing. She is a true fucking hero and deserves to have like every book written about her. Seriously. So today we're gonna talk about her and do some Red Dead. I need to get my hair done, and I'm thinking about buying a new horse. So also maybe some buffalo. I think we're near the buffalo territory here. I got my lemonade. I got Mod Pizza lemonade. It's really good lemonade. It's almost, I think I might like this better than Chick-fil-A lemonade. Anyways, so let's get into it. So Josephine Baker was born June 3rd, 1906, and her name was, I feel like I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Fredia Josephine McDonald. And she was born to a mother who wanted to be a dancer and a father who was a drum player, I think. But he worked in bands. And those two met at the St. Louis Grand Fair thing. You know, with those huge ones back in the Chicago one is super famous. They had them all over the country, and it had like the world coming, and this is where they would showcase like, look at electricity coming and things like that. Like it was a huge event. So and that's where they met. They would fall in love, they'd perform together, and they would have Josephine, and soon after Josephine they had a little boy. But after that, her father decided family life just wasn't his thing, so he left. And unfortunately, this caused her mom to not be able to follow her dreams of being a dancer, because now she was a single black mother, all by herself in the world with two small children. So that was rough. And she started taking like maid jobs and other things just to keep them afloat. And then this also caused a bit of bitterness, and she was a little rough with the kids. She was definitely unhappy because her dreams were fucking over, Same old tale we're all still telling. But pretty soon she would meet another man. They would get married, and they'd have like 3 more kids. She still wouldn't get to be a dancer, and they were still broke as fuck, because this dude, unfortunately, St. Louis at the time, wow. So a little bit of St. Louis history, just a smidgen to kind of context it. So St. Louis in the beginning was founded by the French, but also the Spanish. So like before the French could even realize, they're like, this is for France. The Spanish were like, no, we bought it from you. And then they were like a couple years later, like, oh, all right, whatever. So, but the French had a very different way of dealing with their slaves, while the English were all about don't educate them, don't mess with them, just make them fucking work. The French, on the other hand, it was a place of pride for your slaves to be educated, and especially if they could do music or art, to mold that, and lift that up and let them showcase that. So this St. Louis, because of that, was able to become kind of like a and also the French weren't as racist. Like, they were racist, but not like as bad. And they would like free their slaves. They weren't all like, oh, every black person should be a slave. But like, once you were a slave, it's like, that's what you were. Some would free their slaves. Anyways, it helped St. Louis become this kind of like black Mecca almost. Once slaves were freed, once the war ended and stuff, St. Louis was known to be a black Mecca, a lot more friendly to black people, especially than like more English colonies. So black people kind of rushed in. And unfortunately, while St. Louis was a very large city, booming, it didn't have that many jobs to support the amount of people that came in. What's a multi? Oh, he is so tiny. Mustang. I want a big horse. Oh, the Norfolk Roadster. The Gypsy Cob is way too small. Too small. So, oh, there we go. I don't like his color though, but I think I might go with that guy. Ardennis. Anyways, so that just to set that up. So fast forward back now to Josephine's parents, mother and stepfather. St. Louis didn't have that many jobs, and he was kind of like a job jumper from job to job, whatever he could do. They were so poor, so poor. They were so poor that poor Josephine pretty much had to start working at 6, like finding coal or like rotten vegetables to try to resell. By 8, she was forced to be a maid to go live in someone else's house. They had to share a home. Well, one, they were evicted a lot. They were moving a lot. They finally found a home they could share with another family, and they got 2 bedrooms, and the other family got 2 bedrooms, and they shared the main areas. They would have to heat this house with a metal bucket. And then they would have to, I think I already have a thoroughbred. Oh, wow, look at that. That's a pretty horse. Ooh. Is that what I already have? Maybe I should sell my horse first, and then... I do like my horse, but... Can I sell my horse? Manage owned horses. There we go. What is Guinness? Oh, he's a racehorse. Yeah. He's super fast. That's why I picked him. But I'm gonna sell him. Oh, I can upgrade him. What does that mean? Let's see. It's just his appearance and services. I love his saddle. Okay, I guess you don't sell them, you just keep collecting horses? Yeah. Okay, so I'll have a really fast horse, and then I'll get my really big horse. I need to buy a horse. Oh, that's the one that's on sale, the multi one, the Norfolk Roadster. Ah. How much is that? Oh, it's all locked for me anyways. I guess I can't even get the Norfolk Roadster. That's cool. Anyways. So, they're living pretty much, they're having to share a bed, all of them. All of them. The kids at the foot of the bed. Josephine would choose to lay on the floor with rats and stuff and newspaper covering her over sleeping at her stepfather's stinky feet. She also would start school, and she only had one outfit to wear. One. And she didn't even have a pair of shoes. Another family saw she had no shoes and donated like an old pair of high heels. So her father just cut off the heel part. So then it was like, you know, shaped weird. And so that's how she had to go to school. And this is where you see her personality of perseverance come through, is that she, instead of letting the kids get her down, because they did tease her relentlessly, instead of letting that get her down and her not want to go to school, she yucked it up. She became the class clown. She made them laugh. She controlled what they were laughing at. It was almost like that 8 Mile moment, you know, where he finally gets on to perform and starts just going on himself, so the other guy just has nothing to fucking talk about. That's pretty much what she did, and she formed these facial features, and she loved performing. Like I said, she would, around this also time, have to go to school and be a maid. And pretty much, so these situations, she'd be a maid and live at someone else's house. I don't know if I want war. Or... I think I want a Shire horse. Yeah, light gray. They are not fast. He is heavy. How's my stable full? My stable's not full. It just said I had a space. Owned horses. Oh, do I have to buy the stall? I have to buy the stall. And that's $100. Bleh. I can only discard Guinness. We're discarding Guinness. Buy Guinness. Alright. That way we don't have to buy a horse now. Oh, you would choose male and female. He's not fast either. A little faster, but not really. Because they're heavy. Okay. So, the first house she goes to be a maid at, this woman is super fucking abusive. I mean, she's nice. She gave her a dress, and that was like the extent of her niceness. Poor Josephine, she made her sleep in the cellar with her dog. This would create Josephine's love for animals, though, being so close to this dog. But then she also... What's this septic punch? Why is it a star? I haven't looked at them at all. Poor Josephine have to get up at like the crack ass of dawn, do every single fucking chore, peeling potato, just everything, and then go to school, and then come back, cook dinners and stuff. She was fucking 8 years old. 8 years old doing this. And then if she made any kind of little mistake, was late, anything, she was beaten badly. If I got so bad, one day she accidentally let a pot boil over that the woman took her hand and shoved it into the boiling water. And Josephine fought to get away from her and ran to and the neighbor had to take her to the hospital. And her mom never made her go back. Oh, I can't get these. So, but then she did get put into another house. Now, this family was much more friendly, much more nice, but they were so nice. They saw an 8-year-old doing their work. They were like, we can't do this. This can't be us. Like, I can't. So they just kind of sent her home. Josephine at this point was like, please don't make me fucking do that. I'll find a way to make our family money. So she went and got the other kids to go with her into the rich white neighborhoods and kind of be like, do you need your lawn mowed? You need your floor mopped? You need your windows washed? And on really good days, she'd make like 50 cents and be able to keep like a dime to herself and give her parents the rest. And on bad days that she couldn't make any money, she would like, she'd go like back to the fruit and the coal and stuff. One day, the Romani people were moving through and they were doing a dance, thing so that people could compete and come see their show and stuff. And Josephine competed. She'd been practicing dancing on her times off, and at this time in America, dancing was like big. So she was learning every dance step she possibly could, and she decided that these horses are way too tiny. I think that's what I have, the thoroughbred. Or is it the American Standard? I must have the American Standard. Because the thoroughbred's locked. Yeah. She had decided that she was going to do it. She danced. She wins the contest. She wins a whole $1. This was the first time she ever won money performing, and it just made her whole fucking life. And that was the moment she decided, I'm going to be a fucking performer when I grow up. It's fucking happening. So, we're going to fast forward just a teensy bit because life remains about the same until she's about 13. And at that time, she's trying to perform and stuff, and theaters are opening up around her, and a friend of hers opens like a little mini theater. When she was 12, this happened. And her best friend, her brother would be like selling the tickets, and then her and her friend would dance, and that would bring in a little bit of money for her. And then, when she was 13, she got in trouble and her mom beat her. Where's that horse I wanted? These aren't it. It's the Shire. Yes. I want a male. Yeah. Bye. What should we name him? I want to name him Thickums. Thickums. Yes, I have named another horse. My horse in the storyline is also named Thickums. So she, at 13, she gets punished real bad. Her mom like spanks her, and she's like, you know what? I'm fucking out of this place. It's a shithole anyways. I'm done. She's officially on her own at this point, and she she gets a job as a waitress at a club, which makes her happy as hell. She gets to interact with all the performers, and she even ends up finding her dad. And for a while, and he tells her like, oh, I'm married, I have 3 kids, and he'll kind of give her money here and there should she need it. But when she asked for a watch, he was kind of like, you're doing too much now. And this really hurt her because it was like, you have a family and 3 kids. Why weren't we good enough, you know? So this happens, but while she's at the club, she meets, like my brain is going 100 miles an hour. Okay, she's at this club, she's a waitress. She meets a boy named Willie. He's 16. I'm going to rephrase this again, or enforce this again. She's fucking 13 years old. And her and Willie get married. Now, this was not a legal marriage, but both their parents took them to a church and helped them do this. And it lasted all of like a month. Until one day, and Willie's a typical 16-year-old boy farting around, and she's not having it. And so one day Willie does come home like, oh, I'm going to beat your ass, and like runs upstairs and stuff. And her parents hear a giant crash, and they come running up, and they see Willie on the floor bleeding. She's holding a bottle, and she's like, it was self-defense. And Willie leaves the house, and he never fucking comes back. There is rumor. Her brother thought that this time she was actually pregnant, and that she ended up going to get a back, alley abortion, and that was one of the problems that caused her fertility issues in the future, is that it went wrong. But this is rumor. There's no official on that. So, but that is rumored. Okay, so she would dance and sing in the streets, also trying to make money that way, in front of one of the bigger theaters in the area. Oh my God. I totally forgot one of the biggest things that totally shapes her. I'm sorry. So we got to just take a step back, because one of the biggest things that shapes her and where she ends up going happened when she was all of 8. It was 1917. Was she 8? 6? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17? 11. She was 11 when this happened. And she... Can I get a vehicle? I don't have a vehicle. Buy a vehicle. Can't buy a vehicle. Where's my horse? When will my horse come out with me? So, 1917 race riots start. So what happened was, here we go. Upgrade. There we go. Oh my God, do I have to rebuy my saddle? Shiitake mushrooms. I may have screwed up here. Okay. I like Mohawk. $18 for a Mohawk? None of these colors really popping. Let's go with that one. That one. Okay. Tail. So what happened is, so you have the one side of St. Louis that's mostly black people. Then, of course, you have the white side. And there are poor whites, too. And, of course, like we hear these days, politicians start coming in and going, It's not the factory CEOs that are screwing you, okay? It's the black guys taking your jobs. And so as anger is building over the shortage of jobs and more and more people are poor, people are starting to get angrier and angrier. And they're starting to be like, okay, oh, this is a gold? Oh, I don't know if I want to spend gold. They really be killing me on here, man. I'll do it. All right. Rumors start happening that the black people are going to come for us. They're gearing up and they're going to take us down, okay? And then, so a man in a Ford goes over the bridge, because it's bridges that connect the two sides of the St. Louis, goes over the bridge and starts shooting into people's homes, okay? Well, the black community, some men get together to retaliate, and they go after a Ford, but unfortunately, it was the wrong Ford. The Ford coming that they killed 2 men in was actually the cops coming to investigate the other guy who was shooting into buildings. This sets off a fucking... It's not a war, what happens. It's genocide. It's not even riots. It's not riots. I feel like riots are something to fight for, or they're like, it's just fucking... The white people then go on like a week-long killing spree, okay? Josephine herself talks about as she was running through the streets trying to cross the bridge and get out, they were blocking bridges. They were mutilating pregnant women. They were having lynching parties, just shooting left and right. Like I said, they wouldn't even let the black community escape. When they were trying to escape, they were locking them on the bridges, so much so that scared black people were just jumping off the bridges, willing to swim for it if they could. So many fucking drowned. The federal FBI or whatever beforehand came to investigate, and they said, oh, there was only like 30 deaths, but the people who lived in that area said there had to be like over 200 deaths. And all of like 6. One man went to jail. There was almost no convictions for this. And at that moment, Josephine kind of had this like long-standing fear of American white people for sure, and mistrust, which fucking fair enough, you know? So anyways, now fast forward. She's dancing in front of a theater, and the theater owner sees her, and he's like, that's star power. That is spunk. I gotta find a show for her. Well, luckily for her, a week later, a man comes. Oh, cool. Great. So I do still own I was going to be so sad if I had to rebuy my favorite saddle. A man comes and why can I only discard? Why can't I just like, you know? Anyways, it's fine. He has a show that was already ready to go, but a person had dropped out because there was kind of like a why is my horse not coming with me? Can I whistle for him? There he goes. Come on, horsey. I don't know why you're way over there. Come on, horsey. There he is. All right, horsey. Let's go get our hair done. So they are needing an extra person. Okay, once again, Josephine is all of 13 right now, maybe 14, when she gets a part in this show. And she wants to eventually be part of the chorus line, but she's more of a comedic act. And her silly dancing and her faces and stuff. And people are loving it. They are loving it. She's making $20 an hour as a fucking teenager, and gets to tour America because people loved it so much. And then she does get on her final night. They are missing a chorus girl, so like, okay, we'll give you a chance as a chorus girl. But the costume was too big, so she was kind of, it was saggy on her. So the people see her and they immediately start laughing. Well, she yups it up, as she is one to do. And the people, once again, love her. Love her. She gets picked up by an agency. They're like, we want you in more shows. I mean, she's a fucking star at this point. So as she's with this, if she gets to another show, she's making $25 an hour. She's officially part of a chorus line. And she meets another Willie, Philly Willie. They're in Philly when they meet. And she, unfortunately, at this time, her show is about to end, and she hears of a show she really, really wants to do in New York. They're currently in her area, Philly. She auditions. They're like, you're a bit dark. We have to appease white audiences, and you're a bit too dark, which is crazy to her because she spent her whole life being called too light-skinned, and now she's not quite light-skinned enough. But she doesn't take this as a no. She takes this as a, I'm going to follow you to New York. I'm going to try again and again and again and again. Willie, on the other hand, was like, well, I like my job, so I'm not going to New York. And she's like, well, I am. So bye. And she goes to New York, and she lives in Central Park, like on a bench, sleeps outside on a bench, just waiting for these auditions. And she gets it. And she is fucking ecstatic. And she's now making in the 30s. She is a chorus girl. Now, audiences love her, love everything about her, but the other girls, jealous as fuck. And they start calling her monkeys. They start joking on her for her dark skin. And I only put that in it because she's never in her life being considered dark skinned. In fact, rumors had started that her mom actually was with some German man, that her dad had Spanish in him. She spent her whole life thinking she was mixed with something. And let's see. And now it's like, oh, now you're the dark-skinned one. They would steal her makeup. They would trip her on stage. Whenever they'd trip her, she would just putting in her act. Audience always thought it was just like a fun thing, you know? Ooh, hair accessories. Aw, a floral pin. Jewel barrette. Satin ribbon. I guess I need to choose my hair before I choose a... So she's killing it now. Even with the girls attacking her, she is fucking killing it. So at this point, she is, let's see. She is not even 20 yet, 17. 19. It's 1925. And a Paris scout sees her and they're like, come over to Paris. Okay, I will pay you fucking double what you're making here. And she was making over $100 there. So she was like, done. Because this place is racist anyway. So let's fucking go. She gets over to Paris and she's like dancing in like it's super racist show. Like by today's standards, we'd all be like, what the fuck is happening? But to them, they were just celebrating African heritage, with an American woman. But France wasn't as racist. Like they loved their black people. They did not believe in marriage though. So it was harder for her to necessarily think of family life there. But they loved her. And her fame grew even more, her star even fucking brighter. And this is all before she's even fucking 20, okay? Also at this time, she's always been a thin, tiny little thing. But at this time, she is starting to get a more adult body. And so they're changing her from a comedic act to a sex symbol act, that's where she's like dancing topless and stuff now. And they love it. And she's just killing it at life right now. And she's getting to do world tours. Okay. And she's going to Germany and they're loving her, and Italy, they're loving her. Just everybody. And she is just, getting paid buku. money, and at this time she's even adopting a shit ton of animals. Her love for animals is, I really want this. This is what my hair pretty much is, and I still can't freaking get it. And it makes me angry that they made it so freaking expensive. So technically I do have the money, so why is it locked? Just that hair color, or requires bounty hunter role rank 10. Boo. Boo. I'm pretty sure I'm only bounty hunter 1 right now. So $35, Jesus. Should I go back with my messy waves? Why is everything long hair? I know, it's the times. Anyways. So at this time, she also, 1926, she gets her first singing recording. And this is the time where she would meet a man named Pepito. And he was a con artist, like a known con artist. When he first met her, he told her he was a fucking prince, and he's not. But they end up falling in love, never getting married. And she would constantly cheat on him, knowingly cheat on him. Like, he would like watch her go with other men all the fucking time, and he sat by her. And most people called him a leech, that because he would put himself in her shows and stuff. He became her manager, so it's like he would be her manager, producer, and an actor on one of her shows and make a bunch of money off of it. So that's why people saw him as a leech. But she loved him, and she kept him around. She got her first movie. It was okay. It was a successful movie. She got 2 more that they were kind of flops. She was so famous over in Europe at this point that American Hollywood was like, hey, you want to make a movie with us? And she was like, no, nope, don't want to go back to you at all. But around this time, we're getting closer to World War II, meaning the Nazi Party has formed. Also, Catholics are starting to be kind of like, your titties need to be put away, ma'am. It's getting obscene, okay? So there's Berlin, where she was once welcome, was thinking about banning her. They didn't ban her. She went, but the Nazi Party heckled her to a point where she was like, I'll never fucking go back, cancel all my shows. She wasn't allowed in, what was it? Crap, Munich, I think it was. They did ban her because she was a black woman. She also, in so many places like Italy or anywhere in South America where Catholicism was really big, they started petitioning to not have her come back because she was seen as obscene, not because she was black, but because she was naked. So she did meet a little wall there. She got more singing roles, but her fame did not stop. Paris was more than happy to give her as many shows as she wanted. A lot of places were willing to give her tons of shows. Ooh. You can now get this for 1 gold. And put some pretty flowers in it. Tangled locks. You could just be bald. Okay. Just be mess. I just don't love the hairs they have. Or the one hair they do have. I think I'll just keep my side braid, man. Because it's what's up.
Had to wash my hands 4 times after he was through.
So my hair is blue now, but they don't have a blue, so I just keep it silver. Alright, let's just do my makeup. Okay. They don't have any black. Oh, they have matte black. Or just go with no lipstick.
You got a fine head of hair, I must say.
I'm gonna go matte red. All right. So now we're going to head into, because, you know, she's still getting shows. She's still getting money. She's getting paid. She was even able to buy a fucking 30-room chateau and shit. Like, she is just fine if those places don't want her to be there. She does not give two shits. Unfortunately, the war does hit, causing her to kind of go, oh, crap. So she then does have to kind of be like, okay. So the French government comes to her and goes, look, you'll be touring and stuff. Can you please just, like, be our spy? Just let us know if you hear anything or see anything. And she's like, fucking absolutely. The French people are my life. I love you guys. I'm absolutely going to help in every single way I possibly can. And so she does that. She tours places where she can go. And she ends up having to move to, move her and her family to Africa as the Germans do take over. Oh, you jerks. No. Oh, square. Jerk. $4 penalty? He attacked me! Oh, that is crap.
Hello, come on in.
Hello, sir. Okay. L2, browse the catalog.
Everything you need and more in there.
Okay. So, she learned how to be a pilot. I think I've skipped over some things now if we're in the war. Crap. Okay, so Pepito has died. She did go back to New York for one show. It was super racist. They were like, you can't walk in this hotel. I know you're like the star, but go through the back door. You know, she hated it. She ended up bringing in a lover, and Pepito was like, hey, you're making me sick, bro. I can't deal with this. I'm going back to Paris. And she's like, whatever, do you? Well, he was really sick and he died of cancer, but he did set her up financially, like fixed her finances before he died. So I think he did care about her. So Pepito's died. She ends up meeting Jean. At this time, she is 30 and she wants love and kids. So she meets Jean. They fall in love. They get officially married, but unfortunately it doesn't last long because, you know, he expects her to be a wife, and she wants to be a fucking performer, and he doesn't really support that, so they end up getting a divorce. But he did teach her how to fly because he was a pilot. So during the war, she was able to fly food and supplies. She was able to, before the Germans officially took over Paris, like it was fucking coming and everyone saw it, she was able to get a bunch of Jewish people, like passports and stuff, to get them out. And she donated all of her money to the French government to help with the war. So that was like $2 million at the time. She was touring. She was going to the front lines to do shows for the soldiers. She was giving them free pictures and autographs and stuff. And she was also carrying secrets, like written in her music and stuff, to pass along the war lines. She ended up coming home. She got an Air Force uniform that she loved. She felt super honored. And they also gave her, what was it called? The French, it was later, but it's like the highest thing, the French Legion, or Legion of France. It's like the highest military thing for her war efforts. And she was just fucking honored. So then, we're going to fast forward a little bit. She's still, like, war's over, Jean's gone. She finds another man, remarries him, and they end up staying together pretty long. Okay, this is probably one of her longest relationships. Also, she's 40 now, and she decides, okay, maybe we'll go back to America and we'll do some shows. She's not super welcomed, but people want her, like, showcases do want her. But she is in an interracial relationship, so it's hard for them to even find lodging. And she's a black woman, so a lot of places are like, but back door. So she kind of stands her ground. She's like, look, I'm not playing at any club that doesn't allow mixed race and definitely black people to come in that front door. So a lot of clubs at first were like, well, we're not going to do that, but we'll pay you like $1 million if you do it. And she's like, no, I'm not fucking doing it. You get my black audience in here with the white audience, and then we'll talk. And she was through this, she kind of became passionate about the civil rights movement and desegregation and stuff. And all of the clubs finally broke and was like, fine. If you'll play on that night, we will have the black people come in. The only club to not do it, fucking St. Louis. They would not let her. They didn't give two shits about her boycott. They were like, whatever, boycott if you want. You're not welcome here. Like, which is so crazy to me. Like, you have the opportunity to be like, we're St. Louis, the birthplace of fucking Josephine Baker, the most famous woman in the world at this point. I mean, she's bigger than Beyonce. Like, because she's the first. But Beyonce's probably the closest thing you could put to it. Like, she's this amazing worldwide touring actress and singer and dancer. And most places would be like, come see the birth home of Josephine Baker, you know? But no, not St. Louis. They're like, nah, you're not welcome here. Don't fucking come. Which is fucking gross. So she ends up wanting to stay and wanting to help with the civil rights movement. And she actually, this badass bitch. So one day she's in a lobby in her Air Force uniform eating breakfast. And this white man comes and makes some terrible comments, as white men, you know, I'm not going to say, but yeah, use your imagination. She gets pissed. So she calls the cops, because at this time there were laws. She calls the cops and she's like, hey, I want him arrested on these laws, these civil rights equality laws or whatever. And they're like, well, we can't arrest him because we didn't hear it, but you can citizen arrest him. And she was like, well, get your ass down here. I'm fucking citizen arresting his ass. And she did. And he got put in jail for 10 days for disturbing the peace or had to pay a $100 fine. I did not see where he made the choice, but either way, badass, dude. To have such fear and stand her ground. She even did the walk on March on Washington with Martin Luther King. And oops. Why am I this far? That's it?
Everything I sell in this place, so you can purchase with confidence.
Should I wear a dress? Why are outfits so expensive? I really like this one. Oh. Ugh. Guess I don't get to change my outfit either. So she gets to do the walk. She even gets to speak at the walk on Washington, and she said something like salt and pepper the way it should be. She was all about mixing the races and having everyone live as one. So she ends up going home after this and deciding she definitely wants kids. She's going to start fucking adopting. And she decides she's going to adopt. She called them the Rainbow Coalition, which I'm like a little offensive. But she decides she's going to adopt a child from every race, every religion. And she's going to prove to people that it doesn't mean anything. We can all love each other. And that's fucking what she did. She ended up with 12 fucking kids of each different races and religions. But unfortunately for her husband, he was like, we are fucking broke. You gotta stop bringing home kids. And she was like, nope, bringing home kids. And he was like, I'm out then. And he moved over to Venezuela. He took 4 of the kids with him. So, but he's like, I can't do this. So unfortunately at this time, she has lost like all of her money. She's still doing shows, but she owes more than she can. And her 30-room chateau that she turned into she had a restaurant in there and people to come visit, wax museum, everything. Just wasn't getting business, and she was losing it, and the bank finally sold it, and this is really sad, but she did end up, the final day, the movers are moving in, she locks herself in the kitchen, refusing to leave. They literally had to drag, like, 3 men had to go in, she's in her nightie and, like, a head wrap, and chuck her out in the front yard, sobbing. her friends end up coming. They take her to an apartment with her kids, and she is like distraught for like a whole week because she just lost everything. She's back to where she started, a fucking 1-bedroom apartment with her whole family, and she doesn't know what the fuck to do. And but her being who she was like, you know what? More shows, man. So she goes and she plays at like Carnegie Hall back in America. Oh, I forgot that. So during the civil rights stuff, she was not during a little bit before the civil rights stuff. She was actually banned from America because she did an interview in France, and they were like, well, what do you think of America? And she said she was blatantly honest. She's like, they're fucking racist and they fucking suck, pretty much. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but you know. So America was like, hey, you French citizen, you can't come back until you prove you're like here for America, which made her go, no thank you. And she was like, it's an honor to be banned. And she said, fuck you. But ended up NAACP wanted her to come back and do all the civil rights stuff. So she was like, I really need the fucking money. And so she did it. And it was actually Bobby Kennedy who like got her back into the country, and she was able to like really build up her fan base in America again. And she got to play at Carnegie Hall and stuff. And then that at Carnegie Hall. So now we're looking at kind of a time jump of like from her 50s to her 60s. She's now like 68, and she does this big show in Paris. And they're like, so she does this show in Paris, and she, that's her life show. And she's on stage talking, and, she's, telling people about her life, and while younger dancers are portraying the younger her, but she also performs too, and like, everybody came to see this. Whoever was a star, queens, princesses, like everybody came to see her perform, and she was fucking honored and crying. And she ended up going out that night with all these rock stars and stuff, and she ends up dancing on tables, and she's like, I'm 17 again. And then she ends up at the end of the night, she still wants to keep going. She wants to have fun, you know? And she ends up, like, yelling at everyone, I'm younger than all of you. And, oops, wrong thing, and I have no bullets. That's not good. And then that night, at 68, she goes home, she goes to bed, and she'd never wake up again. She ended up passing away that night of a brain hemorrhage. And they did a huge funeral for her, a huge military funeral. She was the first American to ever get a French military funeral to honor her and what she'd done. And that's the story of her and her life. And it always kind of chokes me up the way she went out, because it's like, I hope I go out that way, just fucking owning it, partying, you know, like, and calling people bitches at 70, you know. But she was a fucking rock star, and especially to be a woman, and a black woman on top of that, in the 20s and the 30s and the fucking 50s and 60s, and to be this world powerhouse, and to help in a war, and to just make the money she made, and to adopt the children she adopted, and to have the passion she had. And you can still go online and YouTube and watch her videos. She was fucking gorgeous. Of course she was gorgeous. And her voice doesn't have like a massive amount of range, but it's beautiful. And her dancing is just like, you could just feel her personality. She totally has that it thing that even today I was watching a little bit of her silent movie, and it's just kind of like, and I'm still watching it, you know, like, it's a fucking silent movie. They're not awesome and they're kind of boring, but she's not, you know, and you want to see what she does next, and the camera just wants to stare at her, and I just want to stare at her. So excuse me. that was the amazing Josephine Baker. I hope to do more biography stuff or educational stuff, but please let me know. I'll kind of talk about anything, really, from spooky stories, cult stuff, anything that I kind of have an interest in, I'll kind of go. So thanks for watching, my little guppies. Please comment, subscribe. Let me know. What do you want to know? Is there anything that you're just kind of out there fucking thinking about that you're like, I wish I had like a quick synopsis about this? Let me help you out there. Let me look into something. Or do you have something super cool that you just know, or a cool person or historical fact that you just love? Send it my way. And I will see you guys, not tomorrow, the next day. I think I'm going to try to go spooky. Or maybe cryptid. I don't know. Alien? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe haunted. I do live near Williamsburg. There's a lot of haunted stuff. You guys have a great day.